This is exactly what happens when you try to box out Jalen Duren, a 6'10", 250-pound tank of muscle who moves like a wing and jumps like a guard. One of the best rebounders in the entire league. And the numbers prove it. Duren is averaging over 12 rebounds per game, with more than 4.5 offensive boards, ranking top 3 in both categories. You look at him and immediately understand why. He's massive, he's explosive, and he treats the paint like it belongs to him. Every missed shot is basically a pass. And when you combine that size with the ability to launch off the floor instantly, you get one of the most dominant interior forces in the NBA today. The kind of guy who can catch a lob from literally any angle on the court. But here's the part most fans still don't realize. Duren isn't just a paint bruiser. He can do things that centers his size simply should not be able to do. Watch this play. He brings the ball up the floor like a point forward, keeps his dribble alive, goes behind the back, between the legs, and then walks into a smooth, confident jumper. That's 6'10", 250 pounds doing guard-level stuff with zero hesitation. And before you ask, no, this wasn't a lucky heat check. Duren actually moves like this. In that same game, a night where the Pistons didn't even have Cade Cunningham, Duren went absolutely off for 31 and 15. And not only did he dominate inside, he pushed the break again, this time attacking Isaiah Jackson downhill and finishing with a turnaround jumper like a seasoned mid-range scorer. And this right here is the scariest part of his game. It's not just that he can dribble. It's not just that he can create off the bounce. It's the touch. Because lots of centers can pull off one flashy move. But if you're missing 70% of those shots, your coach is sending you right back into the paint. Duren isn't one of those guys. He's shooting a career-high 78% from the free throw line on the most attempts of his young career. And basketball rule 101. If a big man can hit nearly 80% from the line, he has real shooting touch. Combine that with his balance, fluidity, and soft release, and suddenly this isn't just a raw athlete. This is a future 3-level scoring big. Even NBA veterans can't believe what they're seeing. You can hear Austin Rivers on commentary genuinely shocked because your brain does not expect a man built like Duren to dribble through pressure 30 feet from the basket like it's nothing. But he can, and he's getting better at it every single month. And this is where Jalen Duren's game becomes absolutely unfair. Watch how he sets up defenders. He'll casually look like he's about to hand the ball off, completely freezing the guy in front of him. And then boom, one quick crossover, and he's exploding to the rim for an and one. That combination of misdirection, speed, and power is something very few centers in the league can replicate. Or take this possession where he gets the ball in the middle of the floor. One explosive first step, and the defender might as well not even be there. Shout out to Dre, but on that play, he didn't have a chance. Duren blew by him so fast that Dre wasn't even in the same postcode. When Duren decides to go, you're basically hoping he misses because you're not stopping him. And in the recent game against Atlanta, the pattern was the same. Give him just a little bit of daylight, and he attacks immediately. Once Duren gets his shoulder into your chest, the possession is over. He's built like a superhero, moves like a wing, and finishes like a skilled big. The blend of strength, foot speed, and soft touch makes him a nightmare to guard in space. And that's exactly why he's averaging a career high in free throw attempts. When a player with this kind of burst and power comes at you full speed, your only real defensive option is to foul. A lot of teams end up doing exactly that. But here's where it gets even scarier. Duren can do all of this out of the pick and roll too. Look at this play. He gets the pass from Marcus Sasser, barely any room to operate, and still manages to slip by MPJ with a smooth Euro step. That's footwork you expect from a forward, not a 250-pound center. And it's not just scoring. If the defense collapses on him, he instantly turns into a playmaker. Watch him set the screen for Cade Cunningham. He catches the pocket pass, sees the help coming, and fires a perfect dime to Ausar Thompson under the rim. Then on the next possession, same action. Screen for Cade, pocket pass. And this time, he uses his eyes to freeze Merrill before swinging it to Isaiah Livers for an easy three. That's high-level reading of the defense. And the crazy part? This is barely scratching the surface. Duren has been a full-blown monster this season, averaging 20 points and 12 rebounds in under 30 minutes per game while shooting nearly 70% from the field. He's not just evolving. He's exploding into one of the most dominant young bigs in basketball. And with the way Jalen Duren has evolved from last season to this season, mentioning all NBA in his future doesn't sound crazy at all. His offensive game has taken a massive leap, but the biggest shock? The defense. The same guy who was once labeled a bad defender is now anchoring one of the best defenses in the entire NBA. And once again, it all comes back to the fluidity. Look at this play. Carter comes up to screen for Desmond Bane, and Bane has a head of steam going downhill. Most centers would be toast here, but Duren slides his feet, stays attached, and times the block perfectly. Then you have another possession where the screen comes. The attacker gets downhill, and Duren meets him right at the apex for a clean swat. That timing, that ability to stay balanced and explode upward, that's elite defensive instinct. Honestly, when you evaluate Duren's improvement, it might not even be the offense that's most impressive. Not the jumper, not the footwork, not the post scoring. It's the fact that a player once labeled empty stats is now the starting center on a defense ranked second in the NBA. That is an insane turnaround. But if we're talking Detroit's defense, you can't talk about rim protection without mentioning his partner in crime, Isaiah Stewart. And right now, he might be the most underrated player in the NBA. What makes Detroit so hard to score on is simple. You always have at least one elite paint protector on the floor. And when both Duren and Stewart share the court? In over 100 minutes this season, Detroit has defended at a level basically identical to Oklahoma City. One of the gold standards of modern NBA defense. It makes complete sense. You can't score in the paint against them. You can't win the rebounding battle. And you can't bully them physically. People still joke about Isaiah Stewart being the guy who tried to punch someone. Cool. Have fun with that. Because you're going to learn sooner or later, this man is one of the best defensive bigs in basketball. And he can space the floor too. With or without Duren, Stewart is a winning piece. And you saw another example in the game against Atlanta, a team that came in absolutely on fire. Late in the fourth quarter, with the Hawks attacking the rim, Duren comes up with a massive, game-swinging block. He absorbs contact, stays completely vertical, and still sends the shot away. That kind of discipline at age 22 is rare. Which brings me to something people need to stop overthinking. I've seen fans talking about Detroit needing a second star next to Cade Cunningham. Names like Lauri Markkanen or even Zion Williamson get thrown around. But right now, Jalen Duren is that second star. And not only does he perfectly complement Cade, but we're seeing something new. Even when Cade is not on the floor, you can give Duren the ball, and he'll create offense on his own, as a scorer, roller, handler, or facilitator. Oh, and here's the kicker. He just turned 22 years old yesterday. You better pay this man. Because Detroit is looking at a future All-NBA center, a franchise pillar who will be dominating the league next to Cade for the next decade. I'm not going to say who that reminds me of, but let's just say a certain duo in Los Angeles turned out pretty good. Too soon? Maybe. Anyway, if you enjoyed the breakdown, you already know what to do. Drop a like, hit subscribe, and have an awesome day.